Hi there, Frontline Church family and friends. Today we are in 2 Corinthians chapter 8 verse 22 through to chapter 9 verse 9. And once again, we're banging on about money, like the Bible going on and on about money, because this is what we read. And I think the Bible talks about money a lot. Jesus talks about money a lot because it's an issue of the heart. And it's an issue of lordship and an issue of surrender. And I say that somewhat playfully, a little bit cheekily, because actually, when I read this passage here, particularly as we start in chapter 9, it feels a little bit like that's how Paul is speaking to this church in Corinth. He's saying, come on guys, I've told everyone about how generous you are. I've told everyone what you like. Live up to it and be those people. So there's something in here really, I think, around expectation. Living as the people that we are called to be, living out of our true identity, being those people freed from the trappings of wealth, who are able to freely give without fear to those in need. As we come through to the end of chapter 8, once again I'm reminded about the power of relationship and ministry, service through relationship. And I know as a church who we invite to speak really into our lives as a church hinges on that. You can have all sorts of great podcasts and speakers and YouTube videos and all the rest of it, but relationship, it makes things so much more powerful. And this brother that's going to be coming to them from Paul's team, he is zealous, he's passionate, and he is confident in them. And I think what a fantastic combination, that passion and the ability to stir up confidence. Once again, it's around the expectation to live that life that they are called to. And we read about Titus. Paul calls him a partner. That's the language of relationship, isn't it? He calls him a fellow worker, a co-labourer. And I've always said I would rather listen to 5 minutes of anyone in our church family speaking than any big name speaker, because it's about heart, it's about relationship, it's about lifestyle, it's about that shared vision and passion together. So expectation, relationship, example. As we move into chapter 9, Paul's talking about almost like the Corinthians, their pastors, like a testimony to encourage others. Their giving in the pastors impacted others. It's like almost like a contagious enthusiasm. And you might have experienced that. You hang around with people who have no passion or enthusiasm. It sucks the passion and enthusiasm from you, doesn't it? But hang around people that have got a bit of passion and zeal and enthusiasm, and it stirs it in you. Hang around generous people, and you might find yourself becoming more generous. We move then into this really famous section on sowing and reaping. Seed has to be surrendered. It has to die in the ground. You have to lose it if it's going to be multiplied. And I think it's important to say, I really don't think that this has got anything to do with tithing, other than it's what is given above and beyond the tithe. How else do you define generosity as new covenant people if it's not above and beyond the requirements of the Old Testament law? But back in the Old Testament system, there was the tithe, which was compulsory, like a tax. And then above and beyond that, there were the gifts to the poor. And in fact, in Jewish rabbinical tradition, that was often referred to as the cheerful gifts, the gifts given above and beyond, the gifts that God particularly delights in. And you see that echoed in Paul referring to Psalm 112 about scattering abroad his gifts to the poor. And so that's what we teach as a church. That's what I not only teach, but have tried to live and practiced for all my Christian life, really. Tithing as a springboard into generosity. So I just really challenge you today just to continue to think what God is saying to you, just continuing to reflect on our attitude towards our stuff, our wealth, and how God might be leading us into greater generosity, the sort of generosity that impacts the world around us. Have a wonderful day.